you been in Denver?
We came in January 2019.
Okay.
So a good decent time now. I must say, I'm originally from France. Moved in the US 2013, so that's 11 years ago. We used to live in New York City. We've always been very entrepreneur at heart, very driven by creating something in hospitality and wellness. And
Mhm.
me coming from France, having a different vision of wellness, just being from the US, it was a great combo for both of us to understand, well, what can we do in terms of new concept? We don't want to reinvent the wheel because reinventing the wheel is it's not easy and very
Yeah.
expensive
Yeah.
and takes a lot of capital. So how can we find a way to make an impact in the hospitality and wellness industry while having fun doing it? And we fell in love back in fell in love in the city. We had dream jobs, great salaries. We were living the dream in New York City, but we were not necessarily very fulfilled by what we were doing. So we decided to quit everything and travel the world for 14 months in 25 countries to find ideas and inspirations. Came back extremely inspired and tried to identify key markets that really would make sense to create a concept such as Oakwell. We realized, wait a minute, we soaked into a beer bath in Poland. We soaked into a wine bath in south of France and Spain. We soaked into those incredible Asian herbal bath in South Korea and Japan. In the meantime, you've got those people drinking beer or slurping a bowl of noodle with their 4-year-old next to them. Why is the wellness industry in the US is very different? First of all, the wellness industry is always focused on mainly, gym membership and lifting 50 pounds and you're gonna kill everyone this morning and you're gonna kill everyone tonight as well. Let's go, let's do that. And on the spa side, the spa has always been focused on women. First of all, a very, very, it's a feminine space. And on the other side, very transactional. So you go and have a massage. They give you the most amazing deal, right? $99. And then they run after you for a membership.
Yeah.
Well, that's not very relaxing.
Yeah.
So you add a bit of beer into it. You create a really inviting environment. You leverage technology for massages. You create a private spa suites, private environment, because we know that in the US, especially, people need their service, but they need as well their privacy more than anywhere else.
Is it less private? Are those more like communal rooms in other countries?
Yeah, absolutely. And in Germany, or even in a few spas in Europe, you shouldn't bring your bathing suit. It's not clean.
Sure.
You should be a natural. So I don't see yet the society here drinking a beer natural. Oh, maybe, but that's at 3 a.m. and they might not remember that. We were looking at Denver, Portland, San Diego, Chicago. New York was out of reach just because it is extremely competitive. It is often you need a lot of capital. So how we choose Denver for 3 main reasons. First of all, the open-mindedness of accepting new concepts.
Especially in
nothing related to us, but Crocs, the shoes were born in Boulder, right? Chipotle was born in here. Quiznos, Smash Burger. You can go on and so many disruptive concept that at the time was very innovative and that became mainstream. Colorado is the healthiest state in the US. There is only we measure the healthiest. The measurement of being healthy is the obesity rate. This is the lowest obesity rate of the US. The support for small business more than anything. Of course, if you go to the suburbs, you can see a bit of change, but Colorado people in Colorado prefer to buy at a farmer's market, buy small business, supporting small business. And I think COVID has shown how supportive the community can be when times are tough. The beer, of course, very important, the beer.
I was going to say, it's impressive that we have such a low obesity rate while we drink so much beer.
Yes, the making of the beer. I think it's over 400 a micro to medium to big size craft breweries. So the beer is extremely important for the culture here. I think it's anchored into the culture. And so how we were able to make beer sexy thanks to all of that, because it's a day spa. People often joke that they come and, does it smell beer? Well, I bathing beer? Not necessarily. And there's not the culture, going back the culture of soaking, the hot springs, the sauna. It's not as strong as Minnesota and, Minneapolis, where, the people, their generations are from usually Sweden and Denmark. Colorado is slightly different on that, but still, it's very helpful. The way we got here, especially just to create this concept and feeling the love and the warm welcome and the open-minded of people just accepting us was incredible. So Denver is definitely home for us as well.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, there's kind of a nuance. So I did holistic therapies in school, and a lot of those type of businesses pop up in Denver because there isn't all the regulations around it. So pros and cons of that, right? Like you get a lot more innovation and opportunities arriving in the area, and because of those opportunities, it tends to be a very supportive community. The flip, you can get some really crummy ones because it's not regulated. But it's an interesting balance, I think, and I always thought that was a really unique concept for Denver to embrace. And I think you are a perfect example of why that's such a good embracing and what that's allowed for the community to show you some love back. So.
Yes. Yeah. And, one thing that we should note on that is that from the get-go, we have opened the spa, the first location. People were, I think it was after COVID as well, that after COVID effect was like, let me get out. I want to get out and try new things and get out with my wife, with my best friend, and I want to spend some quality time. The fact that there were no rules around it, like all of the expectations, no one had expectations of what we were doing, how we were doing. It was such a brand new concept that, people were so open-minded to try it. Then you like it or not, that's a very different story. But it was very overwhelming for us to feel how much support we got on that, because we had everything to prove. And for us, we have hospitality in our hearts. And we believe that a day spa should deliver happiness and relaxation. And we've took this is our mission. I mean, this is in our blood. Every time you come, you must leave happy, with a smile and relaxed. And we want to make sure that this is done with the best service ever. And this has been done since day one. And this has helped us to capitalize on keeping recurring guests coming, loving us, and now we cannot keep up with that, so we're opening a new location.
Yes, love that. Congratulations. I know that when we went, we definitely felt the love, and we both immediately talked about how incredible your staff was and how on the same page everybody was, and just supportive. And it felt I feel like sometimes I feel like very awkward in a spa, if you had somebody that is big into wellness in the area, but they haven't checked out your spa yet, what would you tell them? This is why you should come.
The first reason why you should come is to create for the bond with your significant other or your friend. So you're in that private spa suite. No one is interrupting you. It's about you and your significant other or someone that you really cherish and carry in your heart.
Yeah.
And this time is uninterrupted for 90 minutes. There is no one unless you call for room service. So I think stimulating, elevating that bond, that connection with your significant other is, I think, one of the most important things. And I think it's for me the true definition of well-being. Well-being is about as well feeling that connection with your significant other or someone, a good friend. I think the second is the beer is cold and fresh and always good. You can come and have a good beer, or if you do not like beer, I understand we have wine, kombucha, cider. We take a lot of pride of being beer snob. We clean our lines. I think too much, according to the experts in the industry. We really always educate your staff on the beers. What's the difference between this beer and the other beer? It's always an evolving industry, so we want to make sure that the knowledge is here. So the beer, come for the beer, and I think the third part is. Just, try new things. We're still unique things to do. Beer spas are not all around each corners. So I think, disrupt your routine and try to be a bit adventurous by coming and trying new things.
I like that a lot. How do you guys, speaking of all the beer, how do you guys choose what breweries you put on? When we were there, it was Oktoberfest season, so Prost was on, right? Which makes sense, right? But outside of something so clearly obvious.
First, we were looking at closed breweries just to make our life easier when we launch the spa. Now we have someone is in charge of our breweries relations. His name is Matt. He's a must-loyal employee. He has been with us for as much as we were open, over 3 years now. And he's the one in charge of networking with the breweries, tasting beers, meeting breweries, and lining up each breweries every month. The way we do it is we try to always have that fine line between not too commercial, but not as well too niche, because we really want to gather to different palates. A cool thing that we came up with, that Jess came up with, is to create a house beer that we wanted to create something related to a day spa. So, when you go to a day spa, generally you have a cucumber or lemon water. Well, we came up with a cucumber, lime sour with spice trades, where it's a sour, but it's almost like a kombucha. It's so refreshing. It's almost like not a beer, but we're breaking that stereotypes that sour too tart, and we end up having guys or even ladies drinking now sour, thinking that they've always thought that a sour should always be tart.
It was definitely refreshing. That's what Liz was drinking.
I had my fair share.
I was still in Marzen mode, so I was drinking the Marzens, but it was definitely super refreshing, especially while you're sitting in a hot tub or after the sauna, right? You want something to quench your thirst and to kind of you get hit with the cold bubbles, and that tartness was absolute. It was the right beer choice for the event, for sure. I thought that was really clever of you guys to come up with something that bright and that refreshing especially for the situation. You talked about in Germany and elsewhere in the world, the rooms aren't as private. Do they also have the saunas? Do they also have the zero gravity chairs? Do they have just straight up masseuses? What's a little bit different of how you guys set this up? Because we went through and did all of it, and ending on the massage chairs, I would 1,000% recommend. Like it was like the icing on the cake for sure.
Yeah. So overall, around the world, mainly communal spas are still what prevail the most, unless you go to a palace in the middle of London or Paris, and in that case, you might have your private spa room, but only 0.05% of people can do that. So. Around the world, it's mainly communal. Sometimes it can be a mix of would you say co-ed, right? In English, you say co-ed, like
Co-ed, yeah.
Yeah, co-ed, right, together, but sometimes it's splitted. It really depends of which country. So in Europe, it's mainly men and women together, bathing suits or not. It depends of the policy of the spa. In Asia, it's different. There's a few areas where it's only men and women, mostly when you have a bathing suit, where you can see a bit of your body. And if then for the dry part, so dry sauna, they have those type of like almost like hut where you get inside. It's so hot, and there is like salt rocks on the floor. All of that is open to both men and women together.
Okay.
For massages, it's mainly communal in Southeast Asia, where you just have a curtain, you close and you open. And in Europe, it's a bit more private. Now, why we have decided to leverage technology for massages? Well, the society in the US is very similar to Asia. A lot of people don't like strangers to touch them. And so we discovered those. It's interesting. We call them massage chairs, but they're not. They're not a scam from the airport. They're not. Oh,
yeah, they are absolutely incredible.
exactly.
I was a little skeptic, and I was like, "This is like the greatest thing I've ever started in my life."
Yeah. And so the must you must think that Sony or Samsung or just focus on TVs. Well, they are here in North America, but in Asia they actually focus on so many other type of technology, and we've discovered those type of high-tech massage chairs available there that Japanese, Koreans love using. Because in their society, it's actually not like Southeast Asia, where massage are a bit more predominant with the hands, with the therapist. In North Asia, it's more like how can you leverage technology in order to not have strangers touching you. And we started to find out, okay, how can we bring that to the US and find out if they would like it. People love it at the airport, they love it at the mall. How can we level up this with something really good? And we met this CEO based in Boulder, Denver, capital of very healthy cities. And this guy, a successful company that has leveled up the massage chairs game here in the US, and he's one of the only that is not an Asian brand that create, manufacture his own technology here in Colorado.
Super cool.
Boulder, and we've shown him our concept and explained to him what we're trying to accomplish, and he has the massage chairs you have tried or what he provided us. On the other side, if you think about the business side, the massage technology would always be consistent. It's always the same massage, always, all the time, unless you've got some tech issues, but it doesn't happen that often. And that was a big win. And, just after COVID, when we launched, people were still a bit shy with the social distance. So it was a great way for us to introduce that into the marketplace.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Do you guys have any like memorable misconceptions that you guys get regularly? At least for me, like I definitely thought it was like someone just like dumping a bunch of like cans of beer in a tub and you heated it up, and that's definitely not what it is. I can't imagine I'm the only one that thinks that. Are there other ones as well that you guys have heard?
You're completely right. So often we get this like, oh, do you really bath in beer? And often we joke when we bring you into your private spacery to say there's no Coors Light or Budweiser inside. Better Coors Light. We're in Colorado. So that's the biggest misconception. The second biggest misconception is, do you put a yeast inside the bath?
Oh, okay.
No, we do not put yeast, and there's no risk for you to get a yeast infection. I'm not gonna go into the details, but the third is, does it smell beer? No, it doesn't smell beer. Imagine walking next to that breweries. It's cold outside, but you can smell that the brewer already working on the wort. That's how we call it, and that's a cozy feeling. That's like almost like a warm feeling. That smell. And of course, we can add lemongrass, eucalyptus, so it makes actually the smell very different than what the beer is. Another thing is, when you walk to the spa, does it smell beer? No, it is not an Irish pub. When you walk into the spa, we have worked on we're really into what we would call sensorial marketing, the music, the smell, the colors. So when you work in, we have developed a scent in our own diffusers to remind you that you're in the spa. And then we have actually created candles for you to buy, and you can replicate that smell at home. The last one will be, do you only serve beer? Often people think that we only have beer, and since we try to be inclusive, we don't want to be exclusive. There's a lot of people coming and say, well, I'm tired of beer. Actually, I'm at a beer spa, but I'm tired of beer. So what do you have us? Well, we have cider, kombucha, non-alcoholic beverage, big trend right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Finally, I think one other thing is, can I be a natural in my own private room? Well, yeah, that's your private room. You do whatever you want.
Right.
You don't need a bathing suit. This is yours. No one's gonna get in unless you call us, unless you keep your door open. This is your time. No one needs to know what you wear, how you want to wear it, and that's the beauty of it. We really want you to disconnect and not have any clock and just have fun.
I know, like, you have eco-friendly practices that you guys do, right? Just keeping things local and sustainable, and not even just U.S. made, so much Colorado made. Is there any other eco practices that you guys do that you're really proud of that are just a little bit outside of what you've brought up so far?
Yeah, I mean, I'm European. I grew up with always recycling, trying to reduce as much as we can our plastic use, and in business settings it's very different. If there is things that are the whole business operation is really like, how can we reduce waste as much as we can? We're open 7 days a week, so we're already using a lot of energy. So reducing plastic. Perhaps when people don't finish their beer, how can we maybe not just tell them to, okay, just feel free to throw them away. Not that we want to push them to drink more, but if we have perhaps a bottle of sparkling wine left, we'll seal them. It's like, oh, you forgot your bottle of sparkling. Here's a seal. Go ahead, instead of wasting. Or beer bath, we use fresh hops, barley. We still have some leftover of that. How do we reuse that into different cosmetics products? Yes, and then supporting small businesses, making sure that we support them. And that might not be more, that's not eco-friendly, but like, okay, not we obviously have our own share of success. How can we make sure that right now we can help other businesses and breweries and cosmetics suppliers on, okay, well, I'm not gonna pay you 90 days from now. Let's just make sure I can keep supporting you with, paying you so you can get your ingredients, and I can keep you rolling further along. And that's very important to us. And then, giving back to the community, we often do donations of gift cards to non-profits. We try to show to some specific non-profit that we support their cause through giving away gift card, a tool for their auction. We've done in the past as well those Christmas present drop off, those drive.
I drive, yeah.
Drive. We as well, take perhaps we more philosophy or business philosophy is really, we don't care about the title within employees. We're all a team. You've mentioned that we're all on the same page. We've got 3 weeks worth of training when you get hired. To 2 or 3 rounds of interviews. We really want to make sure that you stay with us as much as possible. I think we're in business to provide opportunities for staff, absolutely. But it's not just a job. We truly believe that we're actually providing a really stable carrier. You have insurance, we have 401k, we have PTO, we have UTO, which, in the hospital industry is not necessarily the first thing that comes to mind. I don't have right now anyone that has spent less than a year with us, which is really good in hospitality, which then the guests, we don't call you customers, we call you guests. The guests feel this. They feel that we're on the same page constantly, all the time.
Are there any experiences that guests have had that really stick out to you as being really special?
Yeah.
Or funny, or however you want to answer.
Choice.
Yeah.
One was this old couple, Saturday night, old couple in love, like super in love, like they're 60s, right? And they have kids, right? And the husband gets sick, and he gets sick in the room. He threw up. Okay, I'm sorry, it's not sexy, but he threw up. And the lady is telling us that since this is I think it was their 30th years anniversary, so they actually had the amazing idea to go to the steakhouse and then get some edible. And then go to the spa.
Wow.
When you go to a sauna at 160, 170 degrees, and then go into a bath. This is what happened. Of course, they felt extremely bad. I mean, it's, you could think that, I'm sure they're very successful people, very successful people, but they must have missed the timing of what needs to be done first, what it needs to be done, and then the destinations of it was maybe not like it. So what struck me, I think, was more like, wow. It's not because you're 60 or 50 or 70 that you can still be young in your mind, and I'm so happy to think, okay, we were on their path. And at the end will remind in their mind has a fun story. We're accessible. We were inclusive, and I had that guy reaching out to us and telling us, hey, my wife got a seizure a year ago. She lost half of her body. She cannot move. She cannot talk. We're trying to find something fun to do, and if this is something that can help us and her to relax, that's even better.
Yeah.
And they came. We helped them to have the experience, and after an hour and a half, the husbands get out and say, Damien, guys, team, Oakwell team, this is the best therapeutic experience we ever had. He started to have tears because a lot of people think it's just a hot tub, but it's first of all, it's not a hot tub. It's a herbal bath. The hot tub is at 104 degrees Fahrenheit. We're between 95 and 100 degrees for your well-being with the sauna, with the drinking, but as well with the freshness of the hops and barley. So, but the hops and barley have such a big impact on you with the different other ingredients we put that helps you to really your shoulders down, helps you to relax. It acts as an aromatherapy, hops is a sedative. And not only she was able to relax, but actually in that bath, when she was submerged, she was able actually to move a little
Wow.
a part of her body that she couldn't move since the accident. And
Beautiful.
her husband said that this is, I've never seen my wife in that state of happiness and relaxation. And I couldn't believe to see a part of her body moving.
I feel like a story after that, you're like, man, if we shut down tomorrow, this was a successful business. Like,
Right.
you don't get a story better than that to have a mission and a purpose behind your business. That's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Exactly. And that to me was like, okay, that's the cherry on top. Like, you know, we've always wanted to be inclusive and always wanted to deliver good, but delivering good at that level was incredible. And then the other stories will be, this is the best date night we ever had in 10 years, because people were married for 15 years and there's a routine that starts to set up in a couple, and it's like, oh, we just rediscovered ourselves.
I feel like it hits the heart the way you want it to hit when you're a very very mission driven company. All right, we'll hit you one more question. This is kind of our flagship. If you could be any beer in the world, what beer would you be?
And why?
And why?
Yes, absolutely. I think if I was 10, 15 years younger, I would have told you an IPA, but not anymore.
Okay.
Because you know, I feel it on my body. So I must say today I'm more into light Asian beer, like anything that can be light Asian, like acai, or like a nice craft Japanese beer. The other day I had that incredible beer from Japan in a can at Uncle when we had a ramen. It was light, but it was tasteful. I cannot tell you it was in Japanese. I think it was very close to, you know, they do some Pilsner style over there. It was close to Pilsner style, but still light, but not as well what I would call cat tea, where there is no taste on this.
Yeah.
I'm drinking this. On the other end, I've started to learn how to enjoy sour beer.
I love sours.
Before you couldn't just like, no, that's strawberry, raspberry. No, I can't do that. Now my palate got to understand it, and one of my favorite beer I ever had, sour beer, was actually beer from a brewery called Sur, S-U-R. It's in Miami. It was made with mango, pineapple, and it was that fine line of being tart, but not too much, fruity, but not too much, and still light enough.
Your date night personality will be a sour versus your sitting on the couch personality.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm French, so yes, romance is in my blood for sure.
Oh man, Damien, this is incredible. Thank you so much. Have a great holidays and weekend, if you even consider a weekend. And
take care of that little one.
Take care of the little one. Say hi to Jessica. All this stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It was great to actually officially meet you.
Yes, and thank you so much for your support. And if you need our support on giveaways or anything for your audience, anything that we can help you support, happy to do so.